Welcome, welcome, welcome to Between the Lines, the Journeyman's Tales. At the moment I'm still undecided where to pitch up for the night. I've had a walk around and pitches that I would normally fish I've still got anglers in. Most of the other ones have been vacated after the bank holiday weekend. I'm looking at a mid-water swim at the moment and I've got no strong feelings to go anywhere. As it happens, there's one being vacated that gives you access to the island, but that's a bit of a long chuck for me with the kit I've got. I really don't know whether to go and fish very close in off to my right of where I am at the moment, or maybe stay where I am, which is a sort of mid-water swim. But the swim to my left is going to be vacated later on by all accounts. But then again, that's an island swim and you've got to be, by all accounts, right on top of the island to be picking up the fish, which again isn't my scene. So yeah, we've got the rod in the water, we sit down and have a cup of coffee. Well, after the excitement of the last trip, I was gagging to get back out again, but I've let the bank holiday weekend go. It's the Tuesday afterwards, down to the local syndicate, and there were a few people on, some of which were about to leave, and having spoken to one of the old boys who knows what he's doing around here, he suggested that I come to the swim that I'm on now. So I parked in the adjacent swim and bunged a couple of rods out on the deck to start with, and as soon as this was vacated I moved over. There's been quite a bit of movement apparently this side of the island, although not a huge amount's come out from this area, but there's been a lot of fish in the area anyway. I've done my usual out with the spod mix, and I've got 3 rods fishing over that as we speak, and the wind is supposed to turn a little bit to the southwest, and eventually later on this evening it's supposed to be quite windy and torrential rain as well. So whether that'll change things, I've no idea, but quite honestly I just couldn't wait to get back out again and catch some more fish. Anyway, as soon as something happens I'll be back and let you know. Oh, well, I was just setting up the camera to do the 22, and this one's gone off. A little comment on it by the look of it. Excellent. I think that can go straight back. Here we go. Early morning wake up call. About 10 past 6. 22 pounds 4 ounces. Just off the far lily bed. After last night, that is most pleasing. There we go. Happy days. There's more or less a leather, possibly. Anyway, let's get her back. Well, what a night that was, and not for the fishing. The wind turned through good 90 degrees, and instead of blowing side onto the bivvy, which is what the weather forecast told me it would do, decided to hit stormfall straight at the bivvy, flying in the door. So most of the night was spent with the door zipped right up to the top, which is something I absolutely detest. It gets really claustrophobic in there, but had very little choice. But then the gods decided to smile, and just as it was calming down a bit this morning, and I'd actually opened the door up into letterbox format, the left-hand rod stormed off, and managed to get a nice 22 pound leather. I'm not sure at this stage whether I got any of the fight involved because of damp cameras, etc. But if there is anything there, I apologise if the quality is not what it usually is. But it has been absolutely torrential. Most of the inside of the bivvy's flooded. I should have put a ground sheet down, but it's not something I normally do. But there we are, it is what it is. And anyway, just as I was organising the camera and stuff to take a video of the leather, the right hand rod stormed off with some magic bait the boss man Martin gave me, and that was a nice, I don't know, mid-double common, which I unhooked in the water and returned straight away. But it's calmed down a bit, the wind's calmed down. I think it's still going to remain wet for the rest of the day, but it's still blowing into the bivvy. I don't know what this southwesterly nonsense that the weather forecast had come up with, but hey ho. Anyway, I'm going to give it a little bit longer and put some more bait out and see if we can encourage some more fish. With the water temperature holding its own in the mid-teens, even after that cold rain last night, this may well be the last trip with this particular spod mix, so shortly moving on to the fish meal based mix, but I'll still be adding a fair percentage of corn for the early couple of sessions till the water temperature really does warm up. Well, as you can see, the sun is actually coming out. You can feel it getting warmer, and the wind has changed back to the southwest, which is what it should have been doing all the time instead of blowing into the bivvy. But it was a good start of the morning, 22 and a guesstimated mid-double, which I released in the net, and I put a bit more bait out about 3/4 an hour ago, and I haven't seen anything moving at all yet this morning, but maybe when the sun gets up a bit more you might see a bit more activity off the edge of the island. But fingers crossed they will return and maybe get bigger. Well, good morning. It's another very quiet night, not only with the fish, but fortunately this time round for the weather. As you can see, it's gone flat calm, the wind has disappeared, the rain has disappeared, although it is due to start again fairly shortly, according to the weather forecast, which is a bit of a pain when it's time to pack away. But snow yesterday evening towards dusk, there were fish showing all over the place, from the internal margin to the outside of the island and all points in between, really. And I've got absolutely no idea why I didn't get the heads down and feed. I did get a fairly good night's sleep, so I couldn't tell if anybody else caught, but I didn't hear any alarms anywhere. Anyway, be packing away shortly, probably when it starts raining again. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers for now. Well, as you can see, I'm back out again. And what a crazy country we're living in. Last week the air pressure was 990 something, monsoons going on. And this week we're back into a heat wave with pressures of 1040 apparently. So don't think a great deal's come out over the weekend, but I know some good fish came out on Friday. That was before the heat wave turned up. Again, it's quite busy. I don't think some people have gone home actually from when I was last here. But there we are. So we're back on the other side of the island where I had the 26 from a couple of weeks ago. Done the usual, put a bit of bait in. The rods are out, the coffee's made, and fingers crossed it's not going to be too long. If it's not this evening, hopefully it'll be through the hours of darkness if it doesn't get too chilly. Well, the sun's just going down over the back of the island, but it's still quite bright right in your face. There's been a little bit of fish movement just over my right shoulder, quite close in. There was a tremendous head and shoulder job going on, and then it went quiet. And about 10 minutes later there was a big swirl over the baited area, followed by plumes of bubbles coming up over the baited spot, but obviously didn't stop to eat too much. So, but there's fish beginning to top a little bit off the back of the island, so hopefully they will get their heads down. Well, that was yet another very quiet night, despite the fact that there were fish showing. Nothing continued into darkness, and it just went dead quiet again. And I think that's probably the 7th night on the trot, not all from this water, that I haven't had a run. We've all seemed to have been daytime fish. And I'm not sure with this air pressure we got at the moment, the daytime fish is the best thing. And I think I'll have to try some zig fishing in a short while. Not that I'm the world's great zig angler, but you don't know till you try, really. I don't know if anything else has come out. I haven't seen anything come out this morning, certainly. I didn't hear any alarms in the night. Who knows? I'll keep plugging away. Well, I've had zigs on for most of the afternoon, but there's nothing really been showing anywhere, so I don't think zigs are particularly effective as just fishing blind. If there are fish moving around below the surface, then I get the feeling that's when they work, but there's nothing showing anywhere. But I've put a little bit of bait out mid-morning. I'm not fishing over the baited area to give the bit of a rest from the lines, and we'll give it another hour. I'm going to put a little bit more bait in and then reread the rods, put them back on the baited spot about 4 o'clock-ish. But the only thing that keeps us cool is a bit of a easterly wind that's coming along. But unfortunately, the good weather has brought out a load more people, so I think the place is quite full now. But I haven't heard any buzzers screaming in the distance, so maybe nothing's coming out anywhere. Anyway, we'll certainly give it tonight. If something comes through the night, then I'll stick around, but if it doesn't, I think it's better off getting home and possibly thinking about next week. still for a fight. And this, taken on probate squid, £30 and 5 ounces. What a cracking wake-up call. And I thought this trip was dying, but we've redeemed ourselves. One happy bunny threw up the bits. Let's get her back. Well, 4:30 this morning, I'm lying in my scratcher, listening to the bird song, and all of a sudden the right-hand rod starts singing. And fantastic 30-pluser on the probate squid. Happy days. Got a bit of a clash moment now. Do I stay or do I go? And we'll give it a few more hours and see if anything turns up on the bait. But I'm well happy with that one. Well happy. Well, since the 30 came this morning, there's been no activity in the swim, no boshing out anywhere around the place that I can see. Certainly no bubbling or obvious feeding going on. The bream seems to have shoved off as well, which is no bad thing. And I think it's probably best to call it a day and regroup and maybe sit out again next week. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Cheers for now.